Okay, so here we are. We are ready to pin these down, and you can see I'm just kind of working with what I've got here. You can see too, these two fit up very nicely right here, and I'm going to kind of snug this one up against here, but you can see way over here I've got this leg. Now most of you are just using just like regular old pins. I will usually use 2 pins, and I will put the pin head at the center. I do this because I'm working with fairly small pieces. Whatever pins you have are the ones you should use. I'm not telling you to run out and get new ones. Sometimes I think that the smaller head pins work better. There's more of a bump here. And I'm used to working with these. So whatever kind of pins that you have, you don't have to be like spending a mint on these sewing materials for some of these bigger pieces. And you can see I come from the middle, and I try to get as much under there as I can as I'm pivoting things around. There we go. And then, oops. Let's see, I think I want to kind of snug this one up right against there. So whatever kind of pins that you have, use. This is not the be-all, end-all way of doing this. This is simply the way that I do these things. Now, I need to cut this out, and I'm not drawing any lines. So this is also I'm cutting slowly, and I'm trying very hard. I want you to see how my scissors are. I'm not doing this, and I'm not doing that. Remember, felt is dimensional. It has height, width, and depth, much more than regular cotton fabrics and other sorts of more flat woven fabrics. I'm omitting things like faux fur from that, and anything that has a really super deep, like terry clothy, kind of thing. So you can see I've cut it out. Now, like I said, I tend to not keep pins in these because for me, I don't like the bumps that it might create. And remember, I know that as someone who is maybe not like me and who is maybe making 1 or 2 of these, you may work on this one weekend and then not be able to get back to it for a couple of weeks or maybe even longer. So if you take the pins out and it has a tooth, I just keep them stacked up together so they don't come apart. So you can see here, I've got these lined up pretty close. So I'm going to try really hard to be careful here. And there are, I don't know how to describe it. Sometimes when I'm cutting felt, especially when I'm cutting small pieces, I don't even know how to describe it. Felt will get like a little edge to it. I'm trying to figure out how to describe it. It's along this edge, and you'll be able to see that instead of being cut straight up and down, it feels like it's been cut slightly at an angle. And I think it's just how how shears work, how scissors work. And sometimes I'll have to come back along an edge and flip it and do these weird little tiny, it's kind of like how I showed you to get rid of the lines made by the pen. You're basically coming along the edge very carefully and just trimming just a few little pieces. So there's arm and arm. Put those there. Usually when I'm stacking these, to make sure that I know which piece goes with which piece, I don't stack them on top of each other like this. I'll stack them opposites so I know that these 2 are matched and these 2 are matched, if that makes any sense. And as always, I keep a little bucket on my desk just for my scraps. It's just easier than trying to turn around and throw them in the scrap bin. It always just makes a bigger mess that I don't want to clean up later. So I'm just going to chop that off. And come back in here, remind myself to keep this straight. And I want you to see what this hand is doing here. This is still doing a lot of the same stuff that I do when I'm sewing. I've got these two on top, these two on bottom, and we're gripping things like this. So let's see if I can do that again. You can see, let me get back in here, that this is how it looks on the other side. Pinky's in there too, but just doesn't have a whole lot of weight behind it. And if you've watched any of my other videos, that I'm sure that I'm completely like contradicting, because I'm just kind of winging this. If you haven't figured out, ooh, and I'm going more diagonal. I shouldn't do that. If I'm contradicting myself, please know that it's simply because, you know, senility setting in. Okay, so I've got these. I'm going to stack them this way. Now, when it comes to cutting out the ears, let's take this felt and put it over here. Cutting out the ears, remember, there's pink on the inside. So I have a little scrap of pink here, and I just need to kind of figure out where I want to put these. I think I can. I'm going to put them that way. I think it'll save a little bit more felt. And I think I'm going to use these because these are really small. So I'm wondering if the microphone is picking up any of the birds outside. The birds are really, really singing this morning. So there's that. And there's that. So again, I'm just going to carefully... Wow, I hope this is all in focus. And notice what I'm doing right here. I have these two fingers together and I'm pinching these as close as I can to the edge as I go around it. It took me years to realize what this hand was doing, and I didn't actually realize how much my left hand plays in when I'm cutting or manipulating things. And again, take these out. And with this last one, we have our ears, our arms, and our legs pieced. And now we're going to go on to the eyes, which are a completely different beastie. And we're going to talk about what I use to make them and how circles change sizes.